This fight was so frustrating to watch.
Yeah, they can boo all they want. You're a champion, young man. You are a champion.
As you can see, the fans feel the same way. There is Andrew, his brother. That's Jason Moloney right there, who should go on to win his first world title in 3 tries. First was against Manny Rodriguez in the World Boxing Super Series tournament. I covered that tournament. What was that, 2018? That was for the IBF. Then in 2020, October of 2020, for the IBF and the WBA against pound for pound future Hall of Famer Naoya Inoue, who's going to be fighting Stephen Fulton at 122, July the 25th. Since he lost to Inoue, Inoue has moved up and vacated all the belts at 118, where Moloney has just fought Astrolabio for the WBO. The 118-pound division bantamweight it's kind of all over the place, especially since the belts have been vacated, but he should go on to get a clear unanimous decision victory. And do not be surprised if there is some shenanigans with at least one scorecard. Here, let's go look at these punch stats real quick. 596, 109. 109 and 596 landed for Astrolabio. 143 of 463 landed for Jason Moloney. Basically, it was frustrating because Astrolabio didn't cut off the ring. Moloney just was boxing. You can't get any better boxing than, you know, like that, as far as keeping the distance, not engaging, jabbing, moving, circling the ring. But Labio just was following him around, and you can tell it was a big skill difference there, because Labio just kept looking for like that one big shot. Don't get me wrong. He's got some good power work. I mean, body shot work. But outside of that, it is, shout out to Tony Toji. But outside of that, it's just, it wasn't nothing there. We're going to get my colleague, Big J, in from Australia to talk about the fight. But overall, shout out to Andrew Moloney, Jason Moloney, because he did look good. Andrew's going to be fighting next week on Haney versus Loma on pay-per-view. And who's he fighting again? I forgot. Junto Nakatani. That's a big fight. So both of them are in have been included next week. Some significant fights for this stage of their career. Also, Top Rank has really been giving them opportunities. You can't say that Top Rank hasn't been fulfilling their promise, because they've been active, fighting for titles. Let's listen to the scorecards. Take your time out.
Carasoni
like the video.
Scores the bout 114-114.
Yeah. Told you.
Robert Hoyle scores the bout 115-113. Zachary Young scores the bout 116-112. For your winner by majority decision. And now the WBO Bantamweight Champion of the world.
That's ridiculous.
From the land down under, Jason Mayhem Moloney!
They try to rob him.
Jason Moloney's a world champion, the bottom line, but majority decision with a 114-114 card is an oddity based on what we just saw. But don't let that take away from the moment that a world championship belt is now draped over the shoulder of Jason Moloney. His third attempt at a world title, and he was consistent.
I smelt those bad cards from 1,000 paces, especially that 114-114. I didn't know it was going to be that bad, though. But looking at the fight, you can kind of see like how a judge may be looking at like the pressure fighting of Astrolabio and chasing around Andrew like he was. But then again, he wasn't really chasing. He was following him around. You know, he wasn't really cutting off the ring, but there was, it's not like he just was getting shut out. There were close rounds, but when it comes to the better overall boxer and who actually won the fight, in my opinion, not the bullshit, Andrew won. Excuse me, Jason won. There's the two brothers right there embracing. Got the first world title in like between both of them. Now, let's look at the rankings. Let's see if they get a post-fight interview. Takuma Inoue, when did he win this belt? Damn, I'm behind. the WBA, or was he elevated? They're not related, by the way. I don't believe they are. Naoya and Takuma, are they? This was last month. I didn't see this fight. Laborio Solis, ill. I saw him fight on the Gary Russell Tuxtute Nyembiar card where he fought Rigondeaux. By the way, Astrolabio had beat Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux's going to be returning June the 9th on the undercard of Adrian Broner versus Billy Hutchinson, I believe his name is. The WBC, you're going to have Donaire likely take on who? Rungvisai, Gabalo, what's going on with that? And the IBF, I don't, somebody let me know. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but don't be surprised if Gary Antonio Russell is going to be positioned for that title. Let's get, see if they do a post-fight interview, and let's get Big J on the line. All right, we got Big J on the line. I got the scorecards here if you didn't get a chance to hear them. So it was 114, 114. 115, 113, and 116, 112 for a majority decision win for Jason Moloney. Now, I said at the beginning of the video that I expected for it to be some bullshit with the cards. But nonetheless, the right man won after 3 tries, or this is the 3rd try. He finally got his world title for him and his brother. What did you think about the fight?
Absolute clinic, exactly, very, very similar to Haney Kambosos one, where he just won off the jab and footwork.
Yeah.
He neutralized the puncher. This is a classic example of the boxer beating the puncher. Because old mate, what was his name?
Vincent Astrolabio.
Astrolabio only had plan A. I'm going to knock him out.
Yeah.
He didn't have a plan B.
Yeah, I saw that.
He didn't have a plan B. Tim Bradley, I like Tim Bradley because he's always pretty accurate in his commentary. So Angelo Ryder was giving him the right advice. Don't engage. Use your jab. Stay away. You know, use your boxing skills because this guy just wants to knock your head off. Right? So how do you do that? You neutralize. You use the jab. You use your footwork. And the fight wasn't entertaining, but it didn't need to be. He's now world champion. So
yeah, he did what he was supposed to.
Did to Kambosos.
He did what he was supposed to do to get, to get the win, to get the title shot. To get the title for him and his family. But yeah, it wasn't, I was more, I didn't blame Jason. I blamed Astrolabio for just following Jason around. He wasn't chasing him around the ring. He was following him around the ring. All Jason was doing was jabbing and circling, but yet this guy couldn't cut off the ring. And like you said, he just kept looking for that one shot.
Exactly. He was just a one-punch fighter that was just looking for that opening, and Jason didn't let him anywhere near him. Yeah. So there was a couple of times he got a couple of good shots in, but Jason won that fight 10 rounds to 2. Easy. I mean, draw. What fucking fight were they watching?
Yeah, I would say that to the credit of Astrolabio, when he was able to get close, he was doing some body work, but at the end of the day, Jason was able to neutralize the power, and he didn't get comfortable in there and didn't get fed and didn't feed into the game plan of Astrolabio. He kept him on the stick and just kept moving. That's
right. I mean, as I said, a classic example of the puncher beating the boxer.
Yeah.
So using their brain, using their skill set, using his experience. Jason's had, far more title fights than this bloke has. So,
it's his 3rd.
Yeah, well done. He finally got his title belt, and now this opens a massive unification fight. Because isn't Manuel Rodriguez going after the IBF belt again?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. I'm not sure who he's going to fight. So right now, the WBC's vacant. Expect for Donaire to be fighting.
Everything's vacant.
Yeah, no, except for the WBA, Takuma Inoue. I don't believe that's an Inoue that's related to Naoya, but Takuma won the WBA at the beginning of March.
Oh, yeah. Well, hang on, wasn't the whole plan to wait for Anito Donaire and have that unification bout? Wasn't that the whole plan?
Yeah, but then because my theory is because Nonito Donaire is still with Richard Schaefer and was with Pro Bellum, and Nonito Donaire had somewhat of a nasty split with Top Rank that the WBO just did. Moloney and Top Rank just didn't want to go that route, but he did get the WBO, so he got one. So as you pointed out, I'm expecting for him to try to unify for either that WBA or that IBF, depending on who has it. but the division is pretty wide open. And right now, in a rematch, and we saw how the first fight went between him and Rodriguez. A lot of people thought that Moloney, I don't remember. Didn't a lot of people think that he should have got that win, or like it could have went either way?
It was a very, very close loss. I mean, if either man won, no one would have been upset. It's one of those fights where it literally could have gone. It was a flip of a coin. Literally could have gone either way. Okay,
yeah, because the scorecards for that fight were for Manny Rodriguez, 2 cards, 113, 115, and then the other card was 115, 113 for Jason.
Jason, yeah. So it could have went the other way, but this is a classic example of people have actually got to watch the tapes and not just read what's on box rec or whatever, because it doesn't give you the full story. Yeah. So you've got to study your tapes. So, because if you watch this on paper, you think, oh, he barely got there. Bullshit. He won 10 rounds to 2.
Yeah. So, yeah, for real.
Yeah. So yeah, people need to study their tapes and actually watch fights and not actually just look up box rec.
It's going to be interesting to see what he does next. Because
I honestly think if Rodriguez wins, he'll go after the unification. That's a massive rematch. I mean, how many rematches are unification bouts? There wouldn't be too many out
and
there.
Then it can be and that can be the perfect fight for them to bring Jason home to Australia,
to Melbourne.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see exactly. If Manny Rodriguez has a fight coming up, because if not, he could probably go for Takuma Inoue, because he already has that WBO, instead of trying to wait around for whenever Manny Rodriguez gets a fight scheduled. You see what I'm saying? You know, so and then build up for that Manny Rodriguez to possibly be a 3-belt unification. But closing thoughts before we give a shout about Andrew's fight next week.
Absolute clinic, brilliant performance by Jason, fully deserved. I mean, you know, and now his profile just goes through the roof. So I'm pretty sure that he's the second man to win a third, because Lionel Rose, Jeff Fennick, and Lionel Rose and Jeff Fennick. That's pretty good company. You know, I think there's only ever been 2 fighters that have won world titles at bantamweight from Australia. So that's pretty good company to be in. So yeah, fantastic for Jason. Andrew's got a very, very tough fight next week. Very, very tough fight against a Japanese fighter. What's his name?
Junto Nakatani. Do you know if that's for the vacant
Nakatani,
belt?
that's it. Yep.
So both of the brothers are getting 2 title shots within title shots within a week of each other. That's crazy. You know, would they be the first brothers to do that? I mean, that's a pretty crazy stat right there. You know, both brothers winning a title shot in the same month, especially in the same week.
Surely the Charlies have done that. I mean, or they appear on the same cards, don't they?
Yeah.
Surely the Charlies would have done that.
Yeah, but listen, we do got to wrap it up though. We will be here next week with a boxing podcast for the Australian boxing, and then next week we'll be here for Junto Nakatani versus Andrew Moloney. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.